Drama begins when the male lead, Duke Pal, is studying with his teacher. Duke Pal's mind is set on studying, but no matter how much he tries, he does not understand anything. Finally, the teacher says in anger, "I know you have a great interest in studying, but what is the use of that interest which is of no use, even if it exists?" Saying this, the teacher holds his head in frustration. Right then, Duke Pal makes a very innocent face and says, "Sir, why don't you take 2 pills for a headache? If the pain doesn't get better, then change my name." Just then, a voice suddenly comes from outside. "Duke Pal, we caught Kwang Soo." Hearing the voice, Duke Pal immediately looks at the teacher and says politely, "Sir, why don't we keep it until here for today?" The teacher says in even more anger, "Because of this very reason, you will never be able to study properly in life." Poor Duke Pal keeps listening to the scolding silently. Just then, the gate opens and Duke Pal's partners bring Kwang Soo inside. This is where Duke Pal's true form comes forward. He says to his partner, "Drop the sir comfortably to his home." The teacher is completely shocked to see Duke Pal in this style. He has no idea. The person I considered a normal student until now is actually the #1 gangster of the Chilsung gang. After this, Duke Pal goes to Kwang Soo and asks in a cold voice, "So, you thought you would survive after betraying our gang?" Then Kwang Soo takes advantage of the opportunity, puts a knife to the teacher's neck and says, "If you want to see this teacher alive, then let me go from here." But Duke Pal is no ordinary gangster. He is an expert in martial arts. In a moment, he catches the knife with his hands and teaches Kwang Soo a lesson that he will not forget his whole life. After some time, Duke Pal meets his boss, Seo Chilsung. Boss Chilsung asks, "Why was it necessary for you to kill Kwang Soo?" Duke Pal answers calmly, "He had caught my teacher. Tell me what else could I have done?" After understanding the whole matter, Boss Chilsung relaxes a bit and asks, "Okay, how is your exam study going?" Duke Pal says, "Currently, my 7th grade has come." Hearing this, Boss Chilsung says happily, "Oh, this is a good thing. I know a boy his 5th grade had come." Then Duke Pal clears his misunderstanding and says, "Sir, in the exam, grade 1 is the best." Hearing this, Boss Chilsung understands for Duke Pal to study is absolutely impossible. After a while, Duke Pal leaves his partners there and sets out in the car himself. While driving, Boss Chilsung's words keep echoing in his mind. Boss Chilsung had said, "I am getting old now. Facing the whole gang alone is not within my power anymore. Now, the time has come for you to become the leader of this gang." Immersed in this thought, Duke Pal reaches the edge of a bridge. Suddenly, his eyes fall on a 19-year-old boy named Si Yong, who is trying to commit suicide. Seeing this, Duke Pal comes into shock and runs to save him without wasting a moment. But from here, Duke Pal's fate completely turns. He somehow saves Si Yong while flying in the air, but the next moment, he becomes a victim of a truck accident. After some time, Duke Pal's eyes open. At first, he feels, "I survived and I am very lucky." But as soon as he goes in front of the mirror, the ground slips from under his feet. In the mirror, it is not his own face, but Si Yong's face. He says to himself, "It seems I have become dear to God and all this is just a dream." Just then, a commotion is heard from outside the room. Duke Pal's 2 partners, Dong-soo and Jong, are making a lot of noise outside. Hearing this, Duke Pal thinks, "These 2 are so loyal that they came behind me even in heaven." But as soon as he goes in front of them, Dong-soo catches him in anger and gives him a sudden jerk. At that very moment, Duke Pal understands. This is not a dream, but reality. Dong-soo drags him to the place where Duke Pal's funeral is going on. Seeing this sight, Duke Pal's mind goes numb. Then Dong-soo says in anger, "Bow down and say thank you to them. They gave their lives to save you." Duke Pal is completely broken. He tries to explain to everyone, "You are understanding it wrong. I am not dead. Recognize me. I am your boss." But no one listens to him. Then Boss Chilsung says with a heavy heart, "You should go from here now." In this way, Dong-soo leaves him. Now Duke Pal understands, "I must do something quickly." He says, "I will come back to my body soon." But the truth comes out soon. His original body has now become completely cold. He sees only one way. He decides to go back to that same bridge and jump. As soon as he jumps, by luck, he falls on top of a bus and survives. On opening his eyes, he realizes, "Even if I want to, I cannot go back to my body." Finally, Duke Pal accepts. For now, I will have to live life in Si Yong's body. Meanwhile, he thinks, this is a very strange thing. Why haven't this boy's parents come yet? Just then, a woman comes there, Secretary Ki-kyung. She says to Duke Pal in anger, "This has become a daily drama for you mother and son. You intentionally trouble me and the chairman." Hearing Ki-kyung's bitter words, Duke Pal understands this woman is not Si Yong's mother. Therefore, he also shows her attitude and says nothing. Ki-kyung goes away irritated, and Duke Pal thinks to himself, "After all, which chairman was she talking about?" After this, Duke Pal finds Si Yong's tablets, in which he has made a kind of diary of his life. Reading those pages, Duke Pal finds out the truth. A boy named Hongnam used to bully bully Si-young so much that he had to take this transition step out of compulsion. Now Dukpal has completely understood, now I know what I have to do. He says to himself, now the time has come. I will live this child's life, and those people who troubled him so much, I will make their life miserable. With this decision, Dukpal reaches his new home. Here he meets the housemaid. The maid asks hesitatingly, did you tell everything to the secretary, madam? Dukpal immediately understands. She is talking about Ki Kyung. As soon as Dukpal steps inside the luxurious house, his eyes fall on Si-young's mother, who is a complete alcohol addict. The maid slowly tells the truth. Since your mother's habit has worsened, Secretary Madam is taking full advantage. She wants to take her place and become the chairman's wife. Hearing this, Dukpal understands everything. The chairman is actually Si-young's father, and he is the owner of Korea's #1 construction company. Dukpal thinks to himself, so this woman is taking full advantage of the chairman's absence. Now Dukpal comes into full preparation mode before going to school. He gets his hair cut, wears a proper jacket, and starts looking exactly like a young student. He reaches a shop to buy books. Here, he collides with Choi. Choi is a bit surprised to see Dukpal, as if he has seen this boy somewhere before. He tries to start a conversation, but Dukpal ignores him and starts looking for books. Then Choi took out a good math book and gives it to him, saying, you should take this math book, this is the best. Hearing Choi's words, Dukpal smiles slightly and says, thank you, child. But I am not weak only in math, I am weak in every subject. So why don't you help me properly? In this way, Choi helps Dukpal choose all his books. While leaving, Dukpal says, I have to admit you are much more sensible than today's children. Hearing his words, Choi asks a bit irritably, what do you want to prove by talking like an uncle? Hearing this, Dukpal understands one more thing. Just looking young is not enough, I will have to learn to speak and behave like a young person too. After this, Dukpal goes from there. But Choi watches him go and thinks to himself, this boy, why does he look so familiar to me? Over time, Dukpal's injury heals and the first day of school also arrives. The driver drops Dukpal a little before the school. Dukpal looks around in surprise and asks, there is no school visible here. The driver says to Dukpal, you always used to get down a little before the school. On this, Dukpal says in a quiet but authoritative tone, from now on, you will drop me straight at the school gate. In this way, Dukpal gets down exactly in front of the school. At the gate, the teacher is scolding the students who came late. Then Dukpal comes forward and starts giving proper respect to the teacher. Seeing this, the teacher's anger cools down and he lets Dukpal go, saying to the other students, learn something from this boy. Learn to become like this. But Hong Nam is also standing among those late students, and he does not like Dukpal at all. Anyway, as soon as Dukpal enters the class, everyone considers him a new student. Then Dukpal asks a girl sitting nearby, can I sit anywhere? The girl answers, seats are not decided yet, so yes. Dukpal sits on a seat. Just then, Choi comes there and is a bit surprised to see Dukpal here. In a short while, the class teacher starts taking attendance. As soon as she takes Si-young's name, Dukpal raises his hand. The whole class goes into shock. Everyone is surprised to see Si-young in this new form. And Choi also understands, the doubt I was having earlier was not wrong. This boy is actually Si-young, but has completely changed. As soon as the class ends, Hong Nam gets up from his seat and comes and stands straight in front of Dukpal. As soon as Dukpal's eyes fall on Hong Nam's name tag, he says with a slight smile, I was waiting to meet only you. Why don't we go to the side and talk? The next moment, Hong Nam and his partners surround Dukpal from all four sides. But the smile on Dukpal's face does not show no sign of stopping. Seeing this, a boy asks, why is there so much laughter? Do you have a hobby of becoming a hero? Hong Nam also sees him laughing like this and says, it seems you have forgotten old things. Then Dukpal answers in a quiet but sharp voice, yes, understand something like that. After my accident, my eyes have opened. And anyway, the actions you have done so far are no less than a murderer. Hearing this, Hong Nam turns red with anger. His partners also become ready to bully Dukpal again. In the beginning, Dukpal is so confident he feels, I will defeat everyone easily with my skills. But he forgets, at this time, I am in Si-young's weak body. Because of this, he is badly beaten and remains lying on the ground. At that very moment, Dukpal realizes, if I have to face Hong Nam and his gang, then I will have to make this body strong too. During this, Dukpal sees Si-young, who is sitting sadly. Si-young says slowly, you don't need to do all this for me. Anyway, my life will not become easy with this. Dukpal explains to him, oh, I got beaten because I'm not used to your body yet. Anyway, I will teach Hong Nam and his partners such a lesson that your problem will end. After that, you can go back to your body. But by then, Si-young has disappeared from there. Then, Dukpal's eyes open, and Choi is standing in front of him. Seeing Dukpal's injury, he brings him straight to the infirmary. There, Choi says, I couldn't recognize you at first sight. You cut your hair and you look like a completely different person. Dukpal still does not understand. What relationship does this boy have with Si-young? Then Choi clears his misunderstanding and says, we both were very good friends. We even studied day and night together. Hearing all this, Dukpal remembers Si-young wanted to make Choi his friend, but Hongnam gave him the label of a stalker, and then the whole school started bullying him by that name. But one thing gets stuck in Dukpal's mind. He thinks to himself, if Si-young had become Choi's friend, then why didn't he write such a big thing in his diary? To solve this confusion, Dukpal extends a hand of friendship towards Choi, but Choi immediately refuses him with a slight smile. He says, to tell the truth, we both were never friends. I just wanted to see your reaction. Hearing this, Dukpal becomes even more confused. Then Choi comes to the straight point. You cannot hide your reality from me. You cannot be Si-young at all. Are you his twin brother? Seeing Choi's sharp mind, Dukpal thinks to himself, there is something about this child, he reads people just by looking at them. To hide his reality, Dukpal says calmly, after the accident, there was a deep impact on my memory. That's why I don't remember most of my previous things. Choi does not believe Dukpal's words at all, but then Choi asks him another question. What did you want to say to me that night? Dukpal goes completely blank. Then Choi speaks further. On the night of the accident, you came to meet me. You told me that you will bring my truth in front of everyone. What did that mean? Here, Dukpal understands. On that night, Si-young came to that bridge only after meeting Choi. Some things had happened between the two of them, but I do not know anything about all those things. And therefore, instead of taking the conversation further, he quietly goes to the class. In the class, Dukpal slowly starts mingling with his new benchmates. He even invites them to dinner. Because of this, some new friends of Dukpal are made, who start helping him in everything from school studies to small tasks. Meanwhile, Choi tries many times to find out what is Dukpal's reality. He asks such questions which only Si-young should have known. But Dukpal's new friends save him every time by speaking in between somehow. Meanwhile, in PT class, Dukpal's performance remains quite tremendous. Seeing him, the teachers also become quite impressed. But Hongnam and his partners are not happy at all seeing all this. They cannot digest, how can Si-young have this new changed behavior? During this, Dukpal's eyes fall on Ki-kyung, who is going towards the principal's office. Dukpal immediately catches her hand, takes her to the side, and asks, what have you come here to do? Ki-kyung answers without going around. I am planning to cancel your admission and send you abroad. Dukpal does not like this thing at all. He says in a sharp voice, who gave you the right to decide my future? Ki-kyung speaks out in anger. There was a time when you used to obey my every word like a wet cat, but now your wings have come out? On this, Dukpal gives her a straight warning. It would be better if you stay away from my matters, because if I come to my real status, then it will not be good for you. Seeing this changed form of Dukpal, Ki-kyung goes away from there in anger. And then a big reveal happens. Outside the school, from afar, Dukpal's old partner Dong-soo is watching him. Now Dong-soo has become Dukpal's new partner. Here, as soon as Dukpal comes to the class, Choi sits next to his seat and keeps looking at him. Dukpal asks him, what are you doing here? Choi says a bit shyly, don't be surprised the teacher has seated me here. After that, the class starts. The teacher is explaining a math problem by writing it on the board, but Dukpal has difficulty in solving the problem. This time, Choi silently helps Dukpal. He gives a small hint with his pencil. As soon as Dukpal follows that hint, he solves the problem. Dukpal is quite surprised to see this, but he is most shocked when Choi says slowly in his ear, so why don't you tell me your real name? Dukpal says in a bit of a sharp voice, I am Si-young, and whatever mess is going on in your mind, remove it. Choi is about to say something else. Just then, another student comes into the class and says, you are being called for counseling. Ignoring Choi, Dukpal started walking towards the counseling teacher. The counseling teacher asks, have you decided about your career and future college? A thought immediately comes to Dukpal's mind. I cannot decide Si-young's future plans myself, therefore he speaks straight, I currently need some time to decide. And saying this, he goes away from there. But Dukpal cannot leave Si-young's future in the dark, therefore that very night, he decides to study alone. Seeing math questions, his mind freezes again. Finally, he remembers Choi and sends him a message. Solve this math problem. Choi immediately solves it and sends the answer as soon as he sees Dukpal's message. Choi feels, now I will be able to talk further with Dukpal. But Dukpal ignores him and goes straight to sleep. Now, along with studying, Dukpal also gets involved in making himself strong. He does not want to fall weak in front of Hongnam and his partners in any condition. One night, Dukpal reaches a bath club where two gangsters start bullying him. They try to suppress Dukpal, but Dukpal tells them to come forward with a sign. One gangster comes, but Dukpal defeats him with sharp speed. He hits that gangster in such a way that all his courage breaks. Then Dukpal speaks, saying, you don't know, I have also been a member of the Chilsung gang like you, and I know Dukpal very well. Hearing Dukpal's name, both those gangsters greet him with respect. Just as Duke Pal leaves, Dong-soo and Jong also come there. A new confidence is visible on Dong-soo's face. Dong-soo tells, the Chilsung gang has dissolved since Duke Pal left. Therefore, now we are starting our new gang. In the meantime, Hong Nam and his partners come there and put forward the point of joining the gang. But then those two gangsters tell Dong-soo a boy had come. Just now he was saying, I know Duke Pal very well. Hearing this, Dong-soo is surprised. But then Hong Nam's eyes fall on Si-young and he is even more surprised. Duke Pal comes back home and here Choi is already waiting for him. Duke Pal asks a bit irritably, what are you doing here? Choi answers straight, I have come to teach you. Today I will give you coaching. Duke Pal ignores him and says, I don't need your help, and is about to run him away from here. Just then, Duke Pal's eyes fall on Si-young's mother, who looks very troubled and restless due to addiction. Duke Pal supports her and leaves her to the room. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Choi goes to Duke Pal's room and starts looking for something here and there. But just then, Duke Pal comes back and asks him, so do you think that because of my disappearance, you can do all this in the house? Choi says in anger, I know you cannot be Si-young. That's why I came here to find the real Si-young. Duke Pal does not like this thing at all. He tells Choi to leave the house with him in anger. Then Choi becomes even faster. What have you done with Si-young? Have you killed him? Duke Pal catches Choi's collar in anger and says, you have fallen behind Si-young a bit too much. I am saying it once again. I am Si-young, and it is your benefit that you stay away from me. Choi says in a loud voice, I want to know the truth because everyone is considering you as Si-young. No one cares about the real Si-young. Duke Pal is about to say something. Just then, the voice of Si-young's mother is heard. She has become completely troubled due to not getting alcohol. Duke Pal immediately handles her and takes her to sleep. In the meantime, Choi steals a hair of Duke Pal and Si-young's mother so that he can get a DNA test done later. After a while, Duke Pal says to Choi, why don't we go out and talk now? And they both reach the library. A different kind of friendship starts between Duke Pal and Choi. They start understanding each other a bit, and Duke Pal also slowly starts treating Choi like his student friend. In the end, when they are about to go home, Choi gets a call from his father. Choi looks quite in tension while making the call. Duke Pal looks at him and says, after all, you're just a child for parents. You should go home now. Then Choi catches Duke Pal's hand and asks, not now. First, give me the answer to the question, what did you do with Si-young? Duke Pal becomes a bit serious and says, you will get the answer from that same hair. You get the DNA test done, only then you will understand that I am Si-young. Actually, Duke Pal had seen Choi while picking up the hair. Therefore, he also understood he has a plan. Choi reaches back to his house, but his father is not happy at all with him not coming home for so long. He asks Choi while scolding, with which friend were you roaming until now? Choi is not able to say anything at first, but then his father asks him while threatening, what is that boy's name? Then Choi speak. He is Si-young, and he is my classmate too. He also good in studies like me. Choi comes back to his room and his dad's anger is still revolving in his mind. He remembers, since childhood, my father has been mentally abusing me, scolding on every matter, pressure on every work, and sometimes venting anger just because I do not live up to his expectation. Choi's father threatens him. I am the #1 prosecutor of Korea. You have to become #1 like me. A strange fear and restlessness wake up again inside Choi. He himself has also started following his dad's every word due to fear, as if he has no choice of his own. The next day, Duke Pal enters school and immediately Hong Nam and his partners surround him. These people look a bit too confident this time, as if they know, now no one can stop Duke Pal. Hong Nam's partner shows a video to Duke Pal. In the video, those people are bullying Si-young very badly. Seeing that video, Duke Pal's anger goes out of control. Such a rage wakes up inside him which was never seen before. He thinks, this is not just a bully, this is an attack on a person's respect. When the fight starts, Duke Pal shakes those people with one punch after another. Hong Nam and his partners are not able to understand where did such strength come from in Duke Pal. In the end, Hong Nam says before hitting a last punch, my name is Si-young and I am the #2 member of the Chilsung gang. Therefore, think 100 times before making a mess. Here Choi is talking to the teacher. Just then, their eyes fall on Duke Pal, who is hitting those people. Duke Pal explained to Hong Nam, saying, now stopping it right here is good for all of you. Hearing this, Hong Nam becomes even more aggressive in anger, but just then, the teacher comes and gets angry at Hong Nam and his group. Hong Nam's partner says, but what is our fault here? Si-young, on the contrary, made a state of all of us. Duke Pal immediately speaks, Miss Madame, these people were troubling me, therefore I had to do all this in my defense. The teacher takes Duke Pal from here after hearing his words, and also shows him away. I know Hong Nam and his partners have troubled you many times, but if you think properly, then you can make their complaint in the school committee so that they get the punishment for what they did. Duke Pal is leaving school thinking, should I put this matter in the school committee or not? Just then, his eyes fall on Hongnam and his partners again, who are troubling other children. Duke Pal does not like this at all. He makes Hongnam's partners return their stolen goods. The children become happy, but Hongnam's anger increases even more. Hongnam starts troubling those children again. Duke Pal tries to stop him and gives a threat in anger. "You should leave this now. I am trying not to fight here, and don't make me angry by doing such actions." Then Hongnam's partner threatened Duke Pal. "If it is so, then I am going to make a complaint about you in the school committee. After getting the punishment there, your mind will surely come to its place." Duke Pal falls into a bit of thought. Only one question is revolving in his mind. Can I really put my future at risk? But then he looks at Hongnam and a strange challenge is visible in his eyes. After thinking for a while, Duke Pal says, "Fine. From now on, neither I will complain about you nor you about me. Come to school daily from tomorrow because I have to teach you a lesson every day." Hearing this, Hongnam goes to hit Duke Pal in anger, but this specific attack becomes heavy on him. Duke Pal suddenly dodges his punch and drops Hongnam with a strong counter. The senses of Hongnam's partners fly away. They are not able to understand where did so much strength come from in Duke Pal. And in that same moment, a new thing wakes up inside Duke Pal. "Now I will not leave my respect in any way." Finally, Hongnam asks in anger, "After all, how did you change so much? Have you learned to fight from Duke Pal?" Duke Pal asks him back, "Why did you people trouble Sejong?" Hongnam remains silent for a while, then speaks not with shame but with anger. "Because you were weak and a loser." As soon as he hears this, Duke Pal's face becomes serious. He remains silent for a while, then speaks in his voice low but firm. "So will you start troubling someone just because they are weak? From today, you people start improving yourselves. Otherwise, your condition will be the same as what you did with Sejong." Hongnam and his partners do not say anything because there is still fear inside them, and now they have found out Duke Pal is no longer just a scared child. But Duke Pal does not leave them with just this much. He stops Hongnam in front of everyone in the class, stops him from their bad actions. Everyone is amazed. The child who used to be afraid of Hongnam is now scolding Hongnam himself. And Duke Pal does not stop only at Hongnam. He also stops Hongnam's partners, forbids them from bullying other children. Seeing this, Hongnam's partner says, "Why are you letting him go like this?" Hongnam answers back, "So what should I do? Didn't you see how easily he was able to hit us? If we have to, making a mess. From him, then we will have to become a member of the Chilsung gang somehow." During this, Dongsu is making some plan by taking a photo of Sejong's mother. Actually, he and Jong, at the behest of Secretary Ki Kyung, want to kidnap Sejong's mother. But Jong is troubled by something else. He tells Dongsu, "Many people of our gang have started leaving. We should do something." Dongsu says, "The Chilsung gang has become very weak since Duke Pal left. We should think about Sejong's mother for now." Hearing Sejong's name, Dongsu is a bit amazed. He thinks, "I have heard this boy's name somewhere or the other." They have no idea. This is the same boy we have already met in the hospital. Meanwhile, Duke Pal asks Choi about his father, but Choi runs away in anger as soon as he hears his name. Duke Pal does not understand anything. Now he takes Hongnam to the side and asks, "After all, what was the relationship between me and Choi in the past?" At first, Hongnam refuses to tell anything, but seeing Duke Pal's anger, he finally speaks. "You wanted to make him your friend, and when I found out then, I spread a rumor in the school that you stalk him, and everyone started believing this thing too." Duke Pal asks in some amazement, "But why did you do all this?" Hongnam remembers, "When we were bullying you last time, then he had reported about it. Because of this, we did all this. But this thing is also true that we were behind him like a stalker." Duke Pal says in anger, "It is not necessary that one who wants to make friends is a stalker, but I still haven't understood why he runs away on hearing his father's name." Hongnam explained to Duke Pal, "The children of elite families have the pressure of their parents on them. Perhaps Choi doesn't talk to his father because of that pressure." Hearing this, Duke Pal starts understanding some things. Now he also starts seeing Choi's behavior is not just cold from heart, but some emotional pain is also hidden inside him. As soon as the class is over, Duke Pal becomes intention about his studies. He keeps sitting in front of his notebook, but everything becomes a blur in his mind. Just then, Choi notices his tension. Duke Pal says in a slightly needy voice, "No matter how much I work hard, but I am not able to study. Why don't you become my teacher and teach me?" As soon as he hears this, Choi starts refusing him. "No, I cannot become your teacher." But just then, some seniors come inside the class and are amazed to see Choi because he is standing with his stalker. Senior says, ignoring Duke Pal, "We all are planning to study at night. You also have to come with us." Duke Pal does not understand, why are they ignoring me? Therefore, he speaks in between. "So why don't you people include me in your group too?" The seniors don't say anything at first, just leave giving Choi time to think. But later when Duke Pal is alone in the washroom, those seniors start bullying him. Repeatedly, they abuse him, calling him stalker. Duke Pal's anger starts increasing, but his eyes fall on the seniors' basketball. Then Duke Pal speaks while challenging, "Why don't we decide who is bigger between the two of us by playing basketball?" The seniors accept the challenge. All students gather on the school ground, and the match starts. Choi is also there and is watching everything. Meanwhile, Choi gets the DNA test result, in which it is revealed Si-young is the real Si-young. And at that same time, Duke Pal defeats the seniors easily. After the match, Duke Pal gives them a lecture. Next time, think before spreading a rumor about someone being a stalker. It is not necessary that everyone is as simple as Si-young. That very night, Duke Pal and Choi are studying together, and then spend time together too. During this, Duke Pal asks Choi, "After all, why is our school committee so weak? If giving punishment to someone is so difficult, then what does it mean?" Choi answers, "The school committee works by looking at some rules and respect of the school. If you really want to give punishment to someone, then there are two ways. Either complain to the police or finish the people who are troubling." Hearing this, Duke Pal falls into thought. He thought, why is Choi's thinking so dark? Is Choi really a good boy? Or is there some dangerous side inside him too? Then they both go to have dinner. There, Choi still wants to confirm, is Si-young really real or not? For that, he remembers the maid's words. Si-young has an allergy to strawberries. So to know the truth, Choi makes a plan to feed strawberry jelly to Si-young. But when Duke Pal goes to get the jelly, Choi stops him. Still, at the time of dinner, Duke Pal accidentally eats a strawberry. His condition worsens, and Choi's doubt is completely removed. Duke Pal has to go to the hospital. In the hospital, Duke Pal asks Choi, "After all what happened between you and Si-young that night?" Then Choi reveals, "Si-young came to ask me for help that night. I refused him and gave him this advice. If you yourself are not able to handle those people, then you should finish them." This thing shows the dark side of Choi to Si-young, and because of this, Si-young threatens him. "I will bring this truth of yours in front of everyone." Here, Duke Pal had now understood the whole truth. He said straight to Choi, "You did wrong with Si-young. Next time when you are in front of him, then definitely ask for forgiveness from him." As soon as he hears Duke Pal's words, a thought woke up in Choi's mind. He thinks, perhaps Duke Pal is not telling the truth, but still Si-young has someone else. Thinking this, the doubt inside Choi increased even more. Dong-soo and his gang had set out on their mission, but they needed one more member. At this time, Dong-soo's eyes fall on Hong Nam, who was standing with some people. Dong-soo immediately goes to Hong Nam and says, "You wanted to join our gang, didn't you? So now the time has come." Just then, a van comes in which Hong Nam is riding, and everyone sets out towards Duke Pal's house together. The very next moment, those people reach near Duke Pal's house and start trying to kidnap Si-young's mother very secretly. But Duke Pal and Choi had come there. When they saw this scene, they attacked everyone without any delay. Meanwhile, Hong Nam sees himself trapped in the kidnapping matter, so he runs away from there in a panic. But Duke Pal and Choi succeed in catching him and make him forced to run away from there somehow. After a while, the police come to the hospital for investigation. Duke Pal says to them, "Dismiss this case." But the police say, "We cannot close this case right here. Investigation will continue until we find evidence." Choi asks Duke Pal, "Why did you take back the case?" Duke Pal thinks inside himself, if the police investigation continues, then they will find out Si-young is the chairman's illegitimate child. Therefore, it is necessary to stop the case from moving forward. And at this very time, Duke Pal also gets confirmed Ki-kyung's hand is behind all this. Choi now comes to his house. His father is very angry seeing his condition. Choi tells them, "Some unknown people attacked me. That's why this injury happened." Then his father says after cooling down, "Take me there. I myself want to see that place." Choi takes his father to a park, but he forgot, "My father is a prosecutor." When no evidence is found there, his father says in anger, "What did you think? Will you be able to easily make a fool of me?" Choi faints after hearing his father's bitter words and then pretends to be unconscious in the hospital until his father leaves him alone. On not finding evidence, the police stop the investigation. After this, Duke Pal himself makes a plan to meet Ki-kyung. But even after many efforts, her number or address is not found. There, Ki-kyung says to Dong-soo in anger, "Do you people even have an idea? Because of this failure of yours, the police can catch me?" Dong-soo says while calming her, "We have found out. The police have closed the case, therefore there is no need to fear." After getting some relief, Ki-kyung says to Dong-soo, "Si-young looks like a normal child in appearance, but from inside he is something else. You will have to handle him somehow." Dong-soo promises Ki-kyung, "I will handle him. You don't worry." The next day in school, Duke Pal asks Hong Nam's friends, why is Hong Nam not visible in school today? But they did not know anything about this because Hong Nam had become completely disappeared since that incident. Anyway, Choi continues to talk to Duke Pal even after so much happened. That same afternoon, Duke Pal is preparing a special fish for dinner. Seeing this fish for the first time, the maid feels, after an accident, the mind of people doesn't only come to its place, but the taste of their tongue also changes. In the meantime, Hong Nam is hovering around Duke Pal's house. He asks the guard, seeing him, "Sir, some nights ago many voices were coming here. Has anything happened anywhere?" The guard tells him, "Everything is fine." And hearing this, a strange thought comes in Hong Nam's mind. So much happened that night, and looking here it seems as if nothing happened. That very night, Duke Pal and Choi meet again for studying. But this time, Duke Pal sees Choi a bit sad. He understands. Choi's father's hand must be behind this. When Duke Pal tells Choi to talk about this, Choi tells, "That night, I lied to my father about how some unknown people beat me, but they soon found out the truth." Hearing this, Duke Pal feels regret about himself. He says to Choi, "Why do you have to lie so much for me?" Choi is about to tell him, but stops in the middle. Because his father has extracted all of Si-young's history using his sources, they have even found out Si-young is actually the illegitimate child of the owner of OK Construction. There, Duke Pal invites Choi to his house, and they both were about to go just then. Their eyes fall on Hong Nam, who is secretly watching from outside the house. Duke Pal and Hong Nam are a bit amazed just by seeing each other. After this, they go to a cafe where Hong Nam starts eating as if he hasn't eaten anything for many days. Here, Duke Pal asks him, "After all, what were you doing near my house?" On which Hong Nam realizes, "I had come into Duke Pal's house only on that night." Hiding the truth, he says, "I had heard some days ago police, etc., had come there. So I came to see, being curious." Hong Nam hides the truth somehow, and Duke Pal invites him also for dinner at home. After dinner, Hong Nam says to Duke Pal, "Your house is quite good. Can I stay here tonight?" Duke Pal says yes after thinking a bit. Just then, Choi also decides to stay here. He says, "My father has gone out somewhere tonight, therefore I can also stay here." After some time, Hong Nam asks Duke Pal, "Can I stay here for some more days? Anyway, my house is small and there is light sometimes, and sometimes not." But Duke Pal asks in anger, "Why do you feel the boy whom I troubled for so many years will let me stay in his house?" Hearing this, Hong Nam's anger increases even more, and he walks towards the balcony. Choi comes there and wants to ask some questions from Hong Nam. He says to Hong Nam, "After all, why were you here on that night of the attack?" Hearing this, Hong Nam is completely amazed. Actually, Choi had seen Hong Nam running on that day, and therefore, Hong Nam now tells all the truth. "I had come on that day at the behest of the Chilsung gang, but when I found out this is a kidnapping job, then I ran away from there. I am even living hidden from the Chilsung gang so that they don't find me." In the meantime, Duke Pal suddenly grabs Hong Nam's throat because he had heard all of Hong Nam's talk. He says to Hong Nam, "I want to know the whole story from the beginning." Hong Nam remains silent for a while, then tells, "All those people are members of the Chilsung gang. They had pushed me into this work without telling me, therefore I had to run from there not wanting to." Now, Duke Pal fell into thought. After all, what happened after I left that Dongsu has to do such wrong works? From there, Duke Pal decides, with the help of Hong Nam, I will have to reach Kikyung by finding the Chilsung gang. Meanwhile, Dongsu reaches his rival gang, even not wanting to. But then Yong stops him and explains, "Are you crazy? What do you think? If you ask for help from the rival gang, then they will help you." Actually, Dongsu had the compulsion, "I have to do Kikyung's wrong work, even not wanting to." But he had come to ask for help from the rival gang by not getting his own hands dirty. Hearing Jong's words, Dongsu comes to his senses. He says to Jong, "Currently, we will have to do this work ourselves so that we can stand our Chilsung gang again. But before that, we will have to do something about Si-young." After some time, as soon as Duke Pal comes out of school, then Dongsu's men kidnap him. Choi sees all this. He does not call the police because Si-young had already told him, "Stay away from the police." Dongsu recognizes Duke Pal by seeing him. He speaks in anger. "This is the very boy because of whom our boss is no more today." Then what? Everyone falls on Duke Pal. But Duke Pal gives a match of equality to all of them and defeated them. But in the end, Duke Pal falls weak in front of his own partner, Jong. There in school, Hong Nam's partners come to meet him. But actually they were not asking about his condition, but were going to hand him over to the Chilsung gang by catching him. Seeing his friends showing their true colors, Hong Nam runs from there. In the end, saving his life, he collides with Choi, and both hide to the side. Now Hong Nam tells all the truth to Choi. Chilsung gang is not only falling behind me, but they are going to kidnap Si-young's mother again. Hearing this, Choi asks Hong Nam, "They have kidnapped Si-young too. You must know the address of the Chilsung gang. You give that to me." Hong Nam tells him the address, but when Choi tells him to help along, then Hong Nam steps back. Choi says to him in anger, "You may step back, but I will keep my friends saved." Here, Duke Pal's eyes open. Then he asks Dong-soo, "What did you want to do with Si-young's mother?" Dong-soo speaks a little shyly. "I was going to declare her crazy and take her to the madhouse." Then Duke Pal says in anger, "I am ashamed. Duke Pal's partner has started doing all these dirty works now." Hearing Duke Pal's name from the boy's mouth, Dong-soo's anger increased even more. But Duke Pal says to him calmly, "If Duke Pal were alive, then he would also beat you in the same way." Hearing this, Dong-soo remains silent for some time. Just then, Choi calls the maid and tells her, "Tighten the house security so that Chil-sung's people cannot harm Si-young's mother." Along with this, Choi gets a call from his father. Choi intentionally ignores the call, but his father has started following Choi's location. Duke Pal asks Dong-soo, "After all what happened to our boss Chil-sung, have you killed him somewhere?" Dong-soo hesitates at first, then tells, "Boss got quite injured some time ago. Therefore, he is currently in the hospital. And due to all this, the Chil-sung gang is now on the way to finishing." In the meantime, Choi reaches that place and also finds out, "People are coming behind me." They try to take Choi with them forcibly, but Choi does not agree. Finally, they say to Choi, "You did this intentionally so that I myself could come here." Then Choi tells them the truth. Chil-sung's people have caught Si-young and they are also going to kidnap his mother. "I could not tell this thing to the police, therefore I had to do this to bring you here." In a way he clears, "I will not go back from here until Si-young is saved." Here, Duke Pal tells Dong-soo some such things which only his boss Duke Pal knew. Hearing all this, Dong-soo remains quite amazed. But then Duke Pal explains to him, "You leave all these dirty works and walk on the right path." Finally, Dong-soo agrees and lets Duke Pal go from here. But in the meantime, Choi comes back and collides with his father. After this, Choi's father talks to Dong-soo by agreeing with his son. He threatens him, "If you don't want to put yourself in trouble, then stop your gang from kidnapping Si-young's mother." Hearing all this, Dong-soo feels quite a threat, and he tells his people, "Stop the mission." After this, Duke Pal comes back home and feels a bit of rest seeing his mother safe and sound. There, Ki-kyung comes to meet Dong-soo, and she is quite angry at this failure. When Dong-soo tells her, "You have made the biggest mistake. You considered Si-young weak. Even he had brought a prosecutor with him, therefore I will not continue this further." Hearing this, Ki-kyung says in anger, "So you forgot how I helped you then when you needed it the most?" Actually, at the time, boss Chil-sung got injured. Then Dong-soo did not have money. And at that very time, Ki-kyung had helped him by giving money, and in return had told Dong-soo, "Do a work of mine." So here, Ki-kyung asks Dong-soo again, "Will you do my work or not?" On which Dong-soo says yes again after thinking a bit. As soon as Ki-kyung leaves, he starts talking to Jong. He tells Jong, "Si-young has also found out all those things of mine which happened between me and Duke Pal. Does he know Duke Pal somewhere?" After thinking a bit, Jong says to him, "If your talk is true, then it will not be wrong to say he must be Duke Pal's son." Here they both become quite confused because they had never heard about his son from Duke Pal until today. Meanwhile, Choi now stops picking up Duke Pal's calls. And finally, Duke Pal reaches to meet Choi, being troubled by this. Now, Choi tells him all the truth. "I cannot meet you from now on. My father doesn't want me to roam around with you anymore." Actually, Choi's father not only told him, "Stay away from him," but now told him, "Stay with the senior soccer player so that you stay in good company like them." Duke Pal is able to understand this thing well. The next day, Duke Pal meets Hongnam's partners and asks, "You all have started coming late every day. If this remains this way further, then you people will not be safe." Just then, Duke Pal asks about Hongnam seeing him missing. Then those people tell, "We ourselves have been looking for him for the last several days, but he was not visible." Hearing all this, Duke Pal understands something is wrong with Hongnam. He even messages him, but no reply is found. In the meantime, some classmates of Duke Pal invite him for a picnic, and he agrees to this. In the picnic, Duke Pal enjoys a lot with all of them. Finally, a boy takes Duke Pal to the side and tells, "I have found out about Hongnam. He is now working in a small store. I have heard he is going to leave school." Hearing this, Duke Pal is quite amazed, and he reaches to meet Hongnam the very next day. Here, Hongnam tells him all the truth. "How should I come to school? My own friends have become enemies of my life, and if I came to school even then, they will leave me to the Chil-sung gang." Hearing this, Duke Pal understands all the talk. He says to Hongnam, "You start coming to school from tomorrow. The rest I will solve all your problems myself." In the meantime, Duke Pal gets a call from Choi. As soon as he picks the call, Choi tells him, "I am standing on the same bridge where Si-young had also jumped." Hearing this, Duke Pal becomes quite troubled. He is afraid Choi might take some wrong step, and after this, he reaches there, running. But here, Choi is absolutely safe and sound. Actually, he had come here to jump, but so much courage could not be gathered inside him. So Duke Pal says to lighten his mind, "I will take you to such a place where you would have never gone." After this, Duke Pal takes Choi to the beach. Seeing the sight in front, Choi becomes very happy. In this way, they both spend a very good time together. During this, Dong-soo and Jong are also following them. Actually, they have to know. What is the secret of Si-young's real face? That after all, how does he know Duke Pal so well? There, after roaming all day, it has become the time of night. When Duke Pal and Choi reach the hotel reception, then the receptionist says just by looking at them once, "Sorry, minors, don't get a room." Duke Pal argues a bit, but there is no use. Finally, both stop in front of an old hotel. As soon as he enters, Duke Pal leans near the owner's ear and speaks, "Do you know Duke Pal of the Chilsung gang?" The owner's face becomes stiff. "Speak the name carefully." Duke Pal smiles slightly and says, "I also know that secret of his that after all, after the accident, one of my lower parts stopped working." The owner falls into thought, after all, how did this child find out such a big secret? I had shared this thing only with Duke Pal. After a while, the owner speaks, "The room is upstairs, you both can stay here." There, Dong-soo and Jong also stay in that same hotel while following them. Fate is doing its work. At night in the room, there is darkness and peace. Choi keeps sitting quietly, then suddenly speaks out, "I have been wrong since childhood, perhaps." Duke Pal asks him in amazement, "Why do you think so?" Then Choi tells the story of his childhood. "For Papa, I was never enough. If I didn't clean the table, then out of the house. If he liked the toys, then he would burn them." He also tells, "My puppy died. Papa said, everything happened because of you. After that day, I stopped speaking. I only learned to listen. But when they installed a camera in my room to watch me for 24 hours, then I broke. I fainted by hitting my head on the wall, and when eyes opened, I ran away." Hearing all this, Duke Pal is amazed. Choi continues, "I am always standing for you. Therefore, don't worry." That very night, Duke Pal phones Choi's father. In the meantime, Choi's father gets troubled and calls Choi. But Choi has slept until then. Therefore, Duke Pal answers their call. Choi's father asks, "Where is Choi? Tell him I am calling him." Duke Pal stays quiet and speaks, "I will bring Choi to school tomorrow. Just one request, stop raising your hand on him. He is very afraid of you." From the other side comes an angry voice. "Who are you to speak in the middle?" And with this, the phone is cut. The next morning, Duke Pal phones the fat gangster. In sleep, he mutters Duke Pal's name. And hearing this, Dong-soo once again sets out following Si-young and Choi. Finally, Dong-soo now decides, "I will talk in front with Si-young." When they reach in front of Duke Pal, Dong-soo says straight, "Stop the drama. You are not the boss's son." Duke Pal remains quiet and then speaks, "If I am wrong, then tell me this. Your father had sold his respect for a loan? Your sister was in the cancer ward. Who paid the last bill of the hospital?" The gangster's face turns white, where he turns towards Dong-soo. "And you were an orphan. You were 19 years old when the boss made you his son." Dong-soo's eyes fill up. Both quickly realize, this boy is not telling any lie. He knows all those things which only Duke Pal should have known. Both kept standing silently in front of him by sitting on their knees. After this, they say, "You are the son of the real Duke Pal." Duke Pal's speaking style was absolutely normal, as if he were only telling the truth. Duke Pal's face dried up for a moment, then a strange satisfaction came inside him. He was silent for a while, then said, "Fine, I will call both of you uncle." Hearing this, the faces of both blossomed. The three started eating food together. Duke Pal introduced Choi, saying, "He is my friend like family." Then a new seriousness came into his eyes. He looked towards Choi and spoke out, "There is a work. Bring that secretary Ki Kyung in front of me, and no one will lay a hand on Hong Nam." The next day in school, everything was going normal when suddenly Choi's father came to school. Anger was clearly visible on his face. He came straight to Duke Pal and spoke out loudly, "Boys like you are spoiling my son." Choi's breath started fluttering. He was not able to move from his place. No, and he fainted. Duke Pal saw Choi falling, so the anger inside him increased even more. Duke Pal moved forward in front of Choi's father while handling himself. His voice was calm but sharp and firm. "Your perfection has made it difficult for this child to live," he spoke. Choi's father asks in anger, "Will you teach me parenting?" Duke Pal caught his hand and spoke, taking a strange light in eyes. "This oppression should end right here. Your son wanted to die, is this what you want?" Everyone in school became silent. No one was gathering courage to answer. Later, Duke Pal says, looking at Choi, "I have talked. Now it is your turn." Choi says, slowly opening eyes, "This time, I will not run." He stands in front of the basketball captain and promises himself, "Even from Papa, I will talk in front." There, Hong Nam's friends made a circle around him. On their faces was the same anger which had been seen before. "We will hand you over to the mafia," one said. Hong Nam looked at them directly and said clearly, "I ran away from you because I considered you as friends. But now I will have to fight." Meanwhile, another big shock comes in Duke Pal's life. His mother's medicines finish, the same medicines which Secretary Ki Kyung always used to bring and give. Duke Pal quickly reaches the hospital so that he can take new medicines. The nurse becomes serious as soon as she sees the prescription. "Are you sure this medicine was being given regularly?" she asks. Duke Pal says, being confused, "Yes, why?" The nurse's face became stiff. She speaks in a slow but stiff voice. These are quite strong drugs. Long-term use causes hallucinations, addiction can occur, and mental condition can also worsen. Duke Pal's heart failed. His hands started trembling. Meaning my mother was being given poison slowly? The anger inside him was now only increasing. Duke Pal immediately calls Dong-soo. Uncle, someone has tried to ruin my mother. Dong-soo stands in front of Secretary Ki-kyung without thinking. Now, only one thing was on his face: anger. Until now, I was supporting you only because your favor was on me, Dong-soo speaks. He moves forward showing finger. But from today, my nephew is Duke Pal. And if you touched his family, then I will take your life. Secretary Ki-kyung says in laughter. Stop the drama. This is all a lie. The anger in Dong-soo's eyes became even sharper. He speaks slowly in the ear. Today, I am leaving you alive only because my debt has ended. Apologize to my nephew right now. Secretary Ki-kyung remains in shock. Confusion and anger both are seen together on her face now. Dong-soo kicks her and sends her out. Anger and the fire of insult started burning in Secretary Ki-kyung's eyes. Secretary Ki-kyung was ready to do anything for the sake of her ambition. She thought, by defaming Duke Pal, only my way will be cleared. Therefore, she hired the police of Duke Pal's city by giving money. Her plan was absolutely simple: to trap Duke Pal in such a case which finishes his reputation in both school and society. Duke Pal finds out Choi's father has filed a complaint in the school. When Duke Pal reads the content of the complaint, then his face, first with shock, then with anger, turns red. In the complaint, it is written, Duke Pal forcibly took Choi to a hotel and made him drink alcohol. Duke Pal does not understand. How can someone make such a lie? I have never taken Choi to any such place. The truth was, Choi's father has intentionally spread a rumor. He had told people, Duke Pal took Choi to a motel and hit him, beat him, and made him unconscious. And the biggest talk, he had done all this intentionally so that everyone stands against Duke Pal in school. Duke Pal felt as if the weight of the world had come upon him, but Secretary Ki-kyung does not stop here. She knew there is a connection of Duke Pal with the gang also, and targeting him will be even more profitable for her. She used her influence to bring the police to her side, and in the greed for money, the police get a fake case filed on Duke Pal. Then Secretary Ki-kyung calls Duke Pal. Her voice is absolutely calm, but there is a cold threat in her words. The case has been filed. The police have already come. You will go to jail and you will go to reform school and improve, she says. Duke Pal says, staying quiet. Even if you send me to reform school, but you will never become the president's second wife. You will always only remain as Secretary Ki-kyung. Secretary Ki-kyung's anger increases even more. A fire starts shining in her eyes. Now see, I will get your mother locked in a mental hospital so far away from where you will never be able to find her, she threats. The next day, the atmosphere of the school has completely changed. Since morning itself, Duke Pal starts finding out, people are looking at me differently. Children stare at him, make groups, and ignore him. A strange silence comes inside Duke Pal. He feels as if his world has gone against him, but still, his friend's squad remains standing with him. A friend comes to him and says softly, we know you are not like this. This is all just a rumor. Duke Pal stops for a second, then determination comes into his eyes. Just then Choi comes among everyone. His entry is absolutely confident. He speaks loud and clear in front of everyone. Everything is a lie. I and Si Young are best friends, and there was no fight between us on that night. A silence comes in the school as if everyone has understood. The truth has now come in front. At that same time, Hong Nam makes an entry and goes straight to those bullies and says, take back the complaint filed on Si Young. Otherwise, I will play the videos of your bullying in front of everyone. The faces of the bullies turn pale. They understand, now our control has broken. And Duke Pal, who until now was standing quiet, feels the strength inside him at that moment. He knows now not only my fight, but the fight of truth has started. He says, looking eye to eye, then you people will be proven as real criminals, and you will go straight to reform school. The bullies laugh in anger and provoke Hong Nam. You also file a complaint against Duke Pal. Tension freezes in the room. Hong Nam moves forward in anger. His voice is trembling, but the intention is strong. This is all wrong, he says, looking at the bullies. The real goons are you people. The bullies laugh, looking at each other. One bully comes forward. Brother, don't become such a saint. Remember when the blame of jewelry theft came on Duke Pal? Hong Nam is about to say something, but the bully cuts the talk. You also took pleasure of that money. And tell the truth, you yourself used to hit and beat him, used to insult him. Hearing this, as if lightning falls in Hong Nam's mind. Shock and shame both come on his face. Yes, I was also a bully. I was also a bad person. As soon as he reaches home, another shock is waiting for him. His sister speaks out with anger and fatigue. I was kicked out of the salon. She looks around the house. This doesn't look like a house. No water, no gas, and you are wandering outside all the time. Hong Nam is completely broken. Only one thought keeps revolving in his mind. If Duke Pal files a harassment case on me, then what? Will he stand with me or not? Amidst this heavy mood, a light moment comes. Mi-hee comes to Duke Pal smiling. Listen, will you go on a date with me? Duke Pal becomes a bit awkward. Sorry, I'm a bit busy. Just then, another girl comes, the same one who used to give him tea in the study hall every day. She also gathers courage and speaks, will you go for dinner with me? Duke Pal refuses again, but this time stops and speaks. Next time I will take you for tea and food. Everyone is shocked. The fire of jealousy flares up in Mi-hee's heart. She immediately asks, tell the truth, who is more pretty between the two of us? Duke Pal tries to handle the situation. Both of you are beautiful. Then adds with innocence, only the difference is the tea girl is a little tall, and your face is cute and round. Mi-hee becomes even more irritated, along with being red with shame. Poor Duke Pal tries to correct the talk, but finally giving up says, I really don't understand what girls want. And now the twist of the story. Choi speaks straight in front of everyone. I will become a witness for Duke Pal. I will prove in court that he is the real victim. His father stops him in anger. If you do this, then I will throw you out of the house. But this time, Choi is not afraid. There's a different confidence in his eyes. He goes straight to Hong Nam. I want the bullying videos. Hong Nam's eyes bow down. His voice is trembling slightly. All videos have been deleted, and if I came in front, then I will be sent to reform school. My studies, everything will be finished. In the burden of guilt, Hong Nam comes to Duke Pal. He sits on his knees and says, filling eyes with tears, I'm sorry. I cannot help you in court. His voice is crying, my dream will break. My papa is saving money day and night for my university. I cannot disappoint them. Duke Pal lifts him, speaks holding hand. Don't worry, I will handle everything. He says with peace, you just make your life better. Study and become a good person. Then speaks with a slight smile. Come, let's go to eat food. Hearing this, Hong Nam cries bitterly. He feels guilt. Even after doing so bad, Duke Pal is considering me a good person. From afar, Hong Nam's younger sister is watching all this. There is sadness in her eyes, but a new hope also wakes up in her heart. Here, Si-young's mother is in the hospital, and boss Chil-sung himself comes to meet her. The atmosphere of the room is a bit heavy. Chil-sung says to her in a quiet voice, I have heard that you are trying to come out of drug addiction. Si-young is doing a lot for you. Now, it is your responsibility that you also take care of him like a mother. Drowning in addiction can become the biggest pain for him. These things touch Si-young's mother's heart. She realizes her mistakes. Shame and regret come in the eyes. She makes a decision in her mind. Now I will live not just to stay alive, but to become a good mother. Next day. Today, Duke Pal had to be present in front of the police because Hong Nam's partners were going to give a confession against him. Duke Pal reaches there, but as soon as his eyes fall on Hong Nam, his anger flares up. He asks in a sharp voice, what are you doing here? Hong Nam smiles slightly and says, I have come here to betray. Hearing this, Duke Pal flares up even more. But the truth is, Hong Nam has come to betray not Duke Pal, but his own friendship. The next moment, Hong Nam pounces on that bag, in which there is video footage. That very footage in which everything is recorded while troubling Si-young. Hong Nam snatches the bag and cleverly gives it in Duke Pal's hand. In the meantime, Hong Nam's partners attack, but this time, Hong Nam and Duke Pal both stand together and push them back together. Finally, that footage is found. The evidence is absolutely clear. Just then, the police reach there. After seeing everything with their own eyes, the police arrest all the culprits. Duke Pal asks Hong Nam, why did you trap yourself by doing all this? Hong Nam takes a deep breath and says, I have realized my actions. I don't want any culprit to be able to escape from their crime, even if I am in it myself. And in this way, everyone is arrested. At this very time, Duke Pal gets a message from Dong-soo, who calls him to meet at the hospital. Duke Pal immediately reaches the hospital. There his eyes fall on boss Chil-sung. Seeing them, Duke Pal bows and asks about their condition. Seeing this, Chil-sung himself is also amazed. Later, he takes Duke Pal aside and talks. In conversations, Chil-sung understands Si-young is actually Duke Pal. Chil-sung says, I don't know in what form Dong-soo and the rest of the people see you, but in your presence, I feel my future is safe. Before leaving, Chil-sung asks, how is the study going? Duke Pal answers a bit hesitatingly, currently I am stuck between grade 4 and 5. Hearing this, Chil-sung hugs him and says, Duke Pal, for me, you will always remain a grade 1 student. Saying this much, he goes from there with a heavy mind. In the end, Si-young's mother is discharged from the hospital. Now she is stronger than before and decides to start a new, clean, and better life with her son. Meanwhile, Duke Pal finds out the chairman has arrived at the airport. He does not waste even a second and sets out straight towards the airport with Dong-soo and Jong. There, when Ki-kyung sees the situation worsening, she tries to run from there, but by now it is too late. Deukpal reaches straight to the chairman and puts the truth of all Ki-kyung's misdeeds in front of him. How she told lies, did manipulation, and misled everyone. After knowing everything, the chairman's face becomes stiff. He says, looking towards Ki-kyung, "Apologize!" Out of compulsion, Ki-kyung bows in front of the chairman and asks for an apology. But Deukpal's anger is not yet cooled. He says in a loud voice, an apology is asked from those with whom wrong has been done, not by standing there, but by sitting here. Hearing this, Ki-kyung understands, now there is no way to escape. She has to ask for an apology from Deukpal, even not wanting to. Deukpal is about to leave from there. Just then, the chairman stops him and says in an emotional voice, "Today what you have done has proven that you are worthy of becoming my true son. I want to declare you as my son in front of everyone." Hearing this, Deukpal answers in a quiet but stiff style, "There is no need for you to come in front of me. After today, your life and my life are completely separate." Saying this much, Deukpal goes from there without looking back. After this, Deukpal once again sees the soul of the real Siyong. This time, there is gratitude and peace on Siyong's face. He says, "You have done a lot for me. Because of you, all my problems have ended." In conversations, Deukpal also finds out, "Now I have only a few days left. After that, Siyong will return to his body." Deukpal smiles slightly and says, "When you come back, then study with concentration and become a good person. Just that much is enough." In the remaining time, Deukpal starts completing some incomplete works of his life. First of all, he reconciles with his classmate Mihi and makes her his friend again. After that, he meets his study mate. She asks with a bit of hesitation, "I like you, will you come into a relationship with me?" Deukpal answers in a quiet voice, "I need 2 days to think." Actually, Deukpal thought, "I want to leave this decision to the real Siyong." Therefore, without saying anything else, he goes from there. There, Choi has also brought a lot of changes in his life. He says to his father, "I have started part-time work from today." His father asks in anger, "Is your mind fine or not?" Choi answers in a quiet but confident style, "I want to make myself independent from you. Therefore, I am doing all of this." The truth was, I have now come out of my father's fear. Oh, he wanted to become a good person by working hard. And finally, his father also has to agree not wanting to. Meanwhile, when Choi is at his part-time work, then his senior comes there, who really wants to ask for an apology from him. "If I've ever troubled you in the past, then forgive me." In conversations, Choi finds out from his senior, Siyong has left school. Hearing this, Choi's heart flutters. Nothing feels right to him. He sets out to find Deukpal without thinking for a moment. Finally, he finds Deukpal, but this time, Deukpal, without saying anything, takes him to the place where once Deukpal's funeral was kept. On reaching there, Deukpal tells his whole truth to Choi. Hearing the truth, Choi is broken. His eyes fill up. He understands. The one I was considering as Siyong until now was actually Deukpal, but he gets the most pain knowing Deukpal is a guest for only 2 days and then will go away forever. Deukpal says in a quiet voice, "After I am gone, ask for an apology from Siyong for your mistakes." The talk is still going on. Just then the real Siyong comes there, and this time he is visible to Choi also. Choi quietly sits near Siyong. With a broken heart, with tears, he asks for a heartfelt apology for his actions. Siyong just looks at him without saying anything and smiles slightly. Meanwhile, Deukpal goes to Dongsu and Jong and tells them the whole truth too. Knowing the truth, both become emotional. The three together make Deukpal's last day worth settling in memories, laughing, talking, and those moments which perhaps will never be found again. Then that moment arrives when Deukpal has to go. Everything is about to end right there, but just then, the story turns completely. Siyong says, "This is the first time when I am so happy. And with this happiness, I want you to live your life by staying in my body." Deukpal tries to stop him, but Siyong is quiet and sure. "I left my body at that very moment when I committed suicide. Now you can make a new beginning by staying in my body." Saying this much, Siyong goes away forever. And Deukpal, he once again starts living a new life with that new name, new style, and new intentions. With this story ends.